So it's been a few weeks. If you haven't checked out my first video, make sure to check it out. Wave dashing. We're going to go over what you can do after you know how to wave dash. So just be sure to check out the first video. And again, thank you so much for the support for the first video. I honestly didn't expect so many people to watch it. But yeah, let's keep it moving. So if you're still having issues with movement, implementing it in a match, don't worry. This is completely normal. All I gave you was cinnamon, and you thought with that alone, you could make cinnamon cookies? That ain't it. You can't cook yet. The main two questions you should be always asking yourself when trying to play better is, what are you trying to do when playing? And what is my opponent trying to do about it? And your answer will always be three things. Are they trying to be aggressive, defend, or bait? Once you understand these three things, you sprinkle a couple movement here, a couple movement there, you put it in the oven for 450 degrees for 20 minutes, about 20 minutes, and you pull it out and But first, for this video, let's start with some basics. Defense in a platform fighter is about blocking and punishing, space control and keep out, and dodging and movement. Blocking and punishing at face value is pretty straightforward. Blocking requires you to be stationary and leaves you open to grabs. Punishing, on the other hand, is very character specific, so we're just going to focus on blocking things that are a lot more universal. Crouch canceling isn't blocking, but works very similarly to blocking. There's a lot of really good videos out there on the topic, so I'll give it a short explanation. If you hold crouch before getting hit, you severely reduce your knockback you would receive on some moves and have the ability to act faster than you normally would. This is definitely a more advanced tech, and a lot of times you might think, well, why don't I just block? Crouch canceling, or CC for short, opens up new ways to punish situations. You'll have to experiment with what moves can or can't be CC'd and what option it opens up for your character. Another layer of blocking is parry, a high risk, high reward option that can be done by pressing the parry button or shield plus special. Parrying an attack will stun your opponent for about a second and leave them open to any attack while also giving you a temporary invulnerability. The two attacks that give a different outcome when parried is a jab and a projectile. You will still get the invulnerability, but your opponent won't be stunned from a jab, and a projectile will be deflected. Last but not least is shield dropping. Shield dropping is one of the best options to use when dealing with pressure on a platform. Shield dropping is what is done by holding shield and slightly tilting down to drop through the platform, making it possible to punish or escape situations where dropping your shield would be too slow. So to summarize, blocking and punishment is about taking on the situation, right? You're just holding your shield up. Whatever it is they're gonna do, you're gonna take it in and react to it after. Good questions to ask yourself if you're trying to get better at blocking and punishment. When I'm on the platform, do they immediately attack you? Confident enough to parry, or should you play it safe or shield drop? Are they throwing out moves that could be beaten out by just holding down? Are they constantly throwing out projectiles after running away? Is it reasonable to parry or just block? Do they love to double aerial, and should I parry it? When in doubt, just block. But if you have a really strong read and you know something's coming, try to parry it. All right, number 2, space control and keep out. Space control and keep out is about stopping the situation preemptively and holding your ground. Platform fighters are all about where you are on the map and how much space you have. Being at the ledge limits your options severely versus pushing someone at the ledge. How do we control space? You threaten the area between you and your opponent with attacks, movement, or by simply being there. If your opponent keeps moving back, or if you hit them away, move forward and take center stage. Eventually, all they can do is move forward, and this is where keep out comes into play. The keep out is about using your attack's range to hit someone away without committing to forward movement. Short hop aerials, short hop drift back aerials, tilts, jabs, etc. all play a role in attacking a certain amount of space. Depending on who you're playing, you may want to focus less on this and more on aggressive play if your character's range isn't your best suit. Although it may feel very rewarding at first to just mash buttons and protect the space in front of you and have people just run into it. When playing against really good players, this becomes more of a hard read because this might lead you to getting whiff punished much easier since you aren't committing to moving forward. This is where our last aspect of defense comes into play. If blocking and punishment is about taking on the situation, and space control and keep out is about stopping the situation preemptively and holding your ground, movement and whiff punishing is about avoiding the situation. Now here's the part that gets people so confused when it comes to incorporating movement. Movement isn't something that you just do on its own and you practice and that's all you do. Movement affects every single thing we've talked about. The goal of defensive movement is to be as slippery as possible and hard to lock down to 1. Get information on your opponent's offensive habits in a safe way. 2. Get out of situations that would otherwise not be in your favor. Or 3. Whiff punish. Of course, if you just run away, you won't ever get a good opportunity to land a hit. The sweet spot is to be just outside your opponent's threat ranges, but also close enough to gear switch into an offensive option when there's an opening. How much more intimidating is it to hit someone moving like this versus someone like this? Think of a threat range as the furthest their attacks can reach. Now, since you and your opponent will be moving so much, that range becomes very blurry, but the best people at spacing will take that into account and not lose track. This is by far the hardest defensive approach that will get you hit many times, but the more you try to do it and read your opponent, the more you see the benefits for it. Not only is it the hardest, but it is probably the most important. You want your opponent to feel like if they throw an attack and they whiff, you will punish them for it. Okay, so to round off everything, we're gonna go over a clip that I think really puts everything together. Obviously, like me just ranting and talking about, oh, this is what defense is, blah, blah, blah. You might not still get it, so we're just gonna go over this clip and show you exactly what I mean. All right, so right from the beginning, already a lot of things happen. Loxodon goes in to try and take in space, and Claren just back airs to keep him out, and then puts him in the corner, and then starts moving around. Now, already from this position, Loxodon can only do 2 things: keep out or move forward. So the Claren is waiting for him to either play keep out or moving forward, but either way, Claren's movement is very ambiguous, and it makes it hard for the Loxodon to decide when to go in. So that's when the Loxodon finally dash attacks, the Claren is ready to avoid it. After the dash attack, Claren goes for a down tilt. I'm pretty sure this was supposed to be the other way. It misses. The Lox throws out a projectile. Claren goes in, now that he's stuck in an animation, and probably doesn't want to give up any more space that he already gave up. So he goes for the fair to push him back into the corner. The Lox CCs, unfortunately rolls back into the corner, and then Claren plays the movement in the game again. And see, he's just outside of his threat range. Moonwalks back in, gets the F tilt, gets him off stage, and even when he's finally off stage, decides to keep his distance and play the corner. So right, he wants to keep it in the corner, moves back again to avoid the nair. He rolls in, tries to swipe at it, misses. He rolls back, misses again. But again, he's staying outside of his threat range. Now, Loxodon in this position at the center stage is playing keep out and space control, right? He doesn't want to give up space. He doesn't want to be at the corner. And Claren doesn't have that much space to move. And Claren in this situation is choosing to move a lot. So what does Claren need to do? Claren needs to come in at some point. Loxodon knows this, so he's ready. So Claren goes in, double jumps, fakes it. Loxodon reacts with a neutral B, and then Claren takes the opportunity to get a parry. Now, in a match, this happens extremely quickly, right? So we'll just play this clip over, except at full speed, and you'll see how the decision making is done super fast. So yeah, that's it for this video. Again, thank you so much for all the support on the first video. I hope this video was helpful. At first, this video was going to be really long, but I didn't want it to be too intimidating rather than easy to consume. I'm making these videos with my friends in mind that might want to learn this game, and sharing a 30-40 minute video always feels overwhelming sometimes. So today we talked about defense, and the next video will be about aggression and mix-ups. Hopefully it comes out faster than this video. If you don't want to miss it, be sure to subscribe and like this video if you want to support more content like this. Also, if there's anything you think I missed that is good for beginners to intermediate, just leave it in the comment. I saw a few comments before on my last video that were saying, oh, you should have told them about this, you should have told them about that. Although I do know those things, I think there's just some things that, even though it feels important when you're at higher level, at lower level, it doesn't really matter too much. And I don't want to, again, overwhelm people into thinking they need to know how to wave shine, and they need to know how to moonwalk properly, and they need to know how to do all these things to be able to play well. So I'm just focusing on the small things, or the mindset that I think is going to get them the most result in the beginning. And then once you're really good, then you can just start refining it. But again, if you think I missed something that's really important, just leave it in the comment so people can see it. All right, see you guys next video.